Good evening, my beloved, dear viewers. We are live again, and today we are going to talk about the methods of influence and, in particular, hypnosis. The world is now on the verge of very serious changes. Everything changes. Time changes, weather, nature, man changes, the animal world, the plant world, everything changes. And in these changes, of course, people, although not all, but still, develop and improve. And there are certain steps, certain stages, certain processes that lead to human development. And the man always tries to understand first what he is ready to understand, simple, primitive, fast, and then, once he has understood the basis of all these processes, he begins to think about how to study those depths, those mysteries, those great laws, those great knowledge that create the world itself, that govern the world, that guide humanity, and that will complete the evolutionary path of this planet. And now there are more and more of these people, and so many such people are our viewers. And I am very pleased that I can be of service to you. And today I want to explain these processes to you in the way that I understand them. If you understand it differently and think that you understand it correctly, please, you have every right to do so. I don't want to argue, but I want to share with you those experiences, those observations, those knowledge that I have acquired in the process of human development and human education. So, my friends, what is hypnosis? How is the hypnosis done? What are the levels of hypnosis? Hypnosis from the subconscious, if we can say that. That is, it can be said that when people work with a person in hypnosis, they work with his thin, subtle bodies, with his subconscious mind, that is, with his psyche, energy, informational structure, his mind, and his subtle fields. It is very difficult for me to explain this in human language. It's much more complicated, everything is much more complex, and people at the moment have no words to explain all these complexities. But I think that's enough for now. So, hypnosis works with the human mind, human psyche, but there are different levels of hypnosis. There is a hypnosis that is used by gypsies acting on people. There are hypnotic effects acting at the request of the person himself. There is hypnosis, we can call it self-hypnosis, where the person himself working with his subconscious, with his certain levels of subconsciousness, because the subconscious is also very multifunctional and multifaceted as the creator himself, and we are going to talk about him a little bit today too. We cannot talk about him because in principle all hypnotic work is carried out through the levels of the subconscious. It is a direct work with the subconscious, and there are also many different facets in it, and we'll talk today about it. So we see with you that hypnosis exists as a multifunctional part of human nature. This is a certain special influence and impact on the psyche, on the deep inner states of man's mind. Man and all his past incarnations, all his experience, his understanding, his level of intellectual, spiritual development, and so on. That is, we understand that there is a certain level that we call the subconscious, a certain, let's say, constituent of information drive, so to speak, through which, working with it, you can apply different levels of influence and impact. And there is such an effect as hypnotic. How does it work? How does this happen? Let's take you through the simplest technique that a lot of people have encountered. It's gypsy hypnosis. Let's talk about it. How does it work? Subconsciously, But in order for this subconscious mind to open up, something has to be done to attract the person, whether it is necessary to frighten him or to arouse his interest at least for a few minutes or sometimes even seconds, or to tell him something that will cause him some interest and trust and be able to settle the person. But it is not easy for gypsy, and they succeed because everyone knows that they are cheaters as a rule. Well, not all, but most, especially those who are engaged in various such methods of action, impact on humans. For what purpose? Take his money, jewelry, and so on. And how do they do that? They first notice they all talk very loudly. This is all done deliberately in order to take a person out of his conscious state. Because when you are conscious, it is impossible to enter into your subconscious and there to act on you through the subconscious. They know it, so they always shout loudly, talk loudly. This is all done for the purpose of getting you mad. Just get out of yourself, or somehow you got scared, or somehow angry, showed some discontent, or even some fear. Your subconscious mind popped and opened, and they immediately have a thought already prepared for you, a program that they instantly, in a matter of seconds, introduce into your subconscious. Let us suppose that man ceases to govern himself, control himself, that man ceases to remember, that man ceases to realize himself. It's instantaneous, in a fraction of a second, and then they come to this person. They did it in silence. You will not hear it. They just send a thought into your subconsciousness, and then they come and go whatever they want with you. And you don't remember that. You may not even remember how you took off the jewelry, how you gave it yourself, how you gave them money, and so on. But it only works for a few seconds. So they have to keep you in that state, and they know what it's like. They tell you something, that is, they try to make sure you don't come to your senses, because when you come to your conscious state, you will immediately wake up and realize what they are doing to you. But when they hold you in a subconscious state, you are in such a state of not understanding what is happening to you. You are in such a half day, half sleep, forgetfulness, mental fog, let's call it that. And they are working with you at this point. The man quickly takes everything. They say, take it off, do it, or there you are, my beauty. Oh, you are so beautiful. Yes, 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 and tell me this, give me this. And the person automatically does all this and gives. Then, when they leave, the person begins to return to a conscious state and realize that there is no money, nothing, and gypsies are not. This is gypsy hypnosis. It works through the impact on your psyche. That is, different methods to frighten a person, as I have already said, somehow cause interest. For example, your husband is going to die tomorrow, and the person wants and immediately um, is frightened. And when he does it once, his subconscious mind immediately claps. He loses his consciousness by a fraction of a second, and instantly the subconscious mind is instantly revealed. Why? It turns out that's your nature. When you think, do something, make some decisions, you always have two levels of thinking: consciousness level of thinking or subconscious level of thinking. Both conscious and subconscious cannot work. But when you are in the conscious level of thinking, your subconscious mind is closed. That is, it cannot be influenced and acted upon. Why do I always tell you, always be aware? Because you're always in control of your subconscious then. Or when you lose consciousness or something like this, you lose consciousness. I'll explain it to you right away. For example, you are going somewhere, think of something, and if you will be asked, what are you thinking? You will tell, I don't know. Somehow everything is nothing. This is the state when you were in the subconsciousness. This is the subconscious that worked with you. It threw programs into your mind, into your mental activity. And your mental activity has been processing these subconscious programs. And when you are in this state, it is very easy to be influenced and acted upon. You can just think something for you. something, or someone at that moment wants something for you at a distance. Uh, does not matter. A distance does not matter absolutely, and nothing matters at all. A person only plays the part of another person's thought about you. If it thinks well of you, it affects your subconscious mind when you open it. You only open it when you dive into it. You can immerse yourself there only in the event that it opens. It has opened, and you are already in it. And that's when you can load anything. That's how hypnosis works, regressive hypnosis, and so on. That's how hypnotists work. These are the techniques. I want you to know that too. I want the world to be developed where people, not savages, lost in illusion, in self-deception. I want you to be developed. That's why I'm telling you all this. So, my friends, when you are in the subconscious, any program outside affects your psyche. So, in other words, it is recorded on a hard drive, written down in the subconsciousness. And then, when you are again interacting in life, losing a little bit of awareness, these programs can pop up, or they may not even surface, but already begin to work within your subconscious and affect your mood, your character, your mind. Of course, it's your psyche, your well being, the course of your events, the course of your actions, your choices, decisions, and so on. The point is, my friends, that we can't live a separate life with you. We are always all one. All the people on earth, they are all energetically intertwined with each other. And no matter how you are divided, no matter what they tell you, you are still connected to each other energetically through these channels. And when the subconscious opens up, these channels are available to you, and you can download any information. This is the method of influence and effect on people. But you can influence and act from a good position. For example, you go to the same regressive hypnologist. I am now explaining to you too what it is, and you ask, let's say, you don't have that, you want this. The hypnologist entered with your permission, so you allow it, you come to it, and you, by allowing him to do so, allow him to work freely with you. He enters your subconscious and can clean up. um, that is, give him the setup to remove this program, remove this one. On the one hand, it would be good, on the one hand, but be careful. If you have a program, it says that it is acquired through experience, some experience of your life or impact of another person. Yes, this program is also being acquired um, with the help of another person. But again, only the program to which you yourself conform can come to you, cling to you, load your subconscious. If you live in the high vibrations, then no magic, no effect, no influence can harm you. Yes, you can feel it, you will be able to see it, but you can reject it. You know how to work with this, so you know how to protect yourself. There are methods of protection. But when the hypnologist does this and removes some subconscious program from a past life, for example, when you come to him and say that I feel that I have some program from my past life, and please take this program away from me, my dear friend. And the hypnologist can cancel this program for you. But my friends, look, if this program is written there, then you have made some wrong choice in the past life, which of course affects your life as well. And of course, you want to get rid of it, because you understand that this program is creating a series of events for you today. You understand this clearly. And of course, you want to get rid of it. But a thousand times, but you should get rid of this program yourself. Or again, you will have that experience again that interconnected with those situations. And now, having understood this experience, your task is to understand what the correct conclusion should be drawn, what you should have understood in that experience, in that situation. But if the hypnologist removes this program for you, and you never understand why it was given to you. There was a situation where you went through it wrong and how you should have done it right. You could not figure it out, you could not understand it, and the program was removed. What's next? Will life be better? No, my friends. You will make the following mistake. A little bit in other aspects of your experience, a little bit of another mistake, but this will also be a mistake. Why? Because you did not understand or realize that experience of the past life, that program where mistakes were made. You don't understand this at all, and until you understand, the program will repeat, the sequence of events will repeat. So, what do you get? You went to the hypnologist, he removed this program from you, but life did not get better. That is, you will notice that in a month or two, in a year or 4 years, an event series will necessarily be created where you will again recognize yourself in the same kind of experience, practically the same, understand? And you will step on the same rake again. Moreover, there is another difficulty and complexity. When a person goes to the hypnologist, it means that he is spiritually undeveloped, he is unprepared, he is unprotected, he does not know anything, he is confused, and he feels bad. In general, he is not well. And such a person, in the process of hypnotic regression hypnosis, naturally, to work with such a person, you have to open the subconscious, and another person does it. And now, attention, my friends, this is how it works. Another person, that is the usual hypnologist, who has problems like fleas in a homeless dog, and he enters your subconscious, and he is also programming you with his subtle information field. He may not want to, he does not want to hurt you, but it happens automatically, and only the great master can give himself a setting so that his program is not written in your subconsciousness. And if he has enough techniques and knowledge, then he will do it for you. If he has no methods and knowledge, then he will download his problems in your subconsciousness. Having opened your subconscious mind, of course, when he comes out of your subconscious mind, he must close it. But does he know how to do it? Will he do it? Can he do it right? How was it with you before or not? There is also a very big question. What happens to a person whose subconscious has been opened? Because look, attention, hypnosis works on the surface layers of the subconscious, that is, with this life. Yes, we can from the past, but then we need to dive deeper into subconsciousness. But it's usually your life, current life. But this life of yours is subconsciously especially open to you. It is open because in life you have a subconscious mind, right? How can it be activated? When does it open? But only the top layer of this life is opening up, the layer of this current life. My friends, I'm sorry, I'm going to say some made up words to you. I make them up as I tell. I'm doing this to explain very serious things in more detail. Very serious. So forgive me for saying these words that are not quite right, but you will understand. And for me, it is important that you understand what I'm telling you. Thus, expanded their intelligence. So the subconscious you have in this life, it's open, you interact with it. Here you are thinking about something, and the clap is a thought. Where? It's from subconscious. It's there. It's like a subconscious program that gives you a mental process. And your mind, as I told you today, works in two ways, either consciously or subconsciously. That's why this life is available to you. You remember it. It is also prescribed, fixed, but there are the depths of the past. Here the past incarnation is closed. This gland, your pituitary gland, has closed your previous life. But when your hypnologist opens your subconscious mind, he opens up past lives. He opens everything. Do you understand? He opens up everything. And then a person begins to have some problems from the past, some difficulties, or some memory recalls its past life. Well, if he is mentally stable and steady, it's okay. But if not, if he calls someone for teeth and says that his teeth have been taken away, or someone is to blame that his business does not stick there, what if he has a disorder with the head and with the psyche and with the soul? This is what to do in this case. And what to do with such people, friends? Why are there no such people? There are such people. They are very sick and very hard. These are mentally unsound people. It is impossible to bring them back to life, my friends. They need to be placed in a certain hospital and already by other methods somehow a little tame, because they do things they do not understand themselves. And what could it be? This is all coming from their subconscious. They are connected now to the illusory space of the subconscious level, because the subconscious is part of the collective unconscious, and these people are in the lowest level of collective unconsciousness. My friends, I will drink a water. I talk so much all day. Excuse me, please.
Спасибо большое. Итак, друзья, мы разобрались с вами, что в гипнозе участвует
Thank
подсознание.
you
То
very
есть это
much.
работа с вашим
So,
подсознанием. Это
friends,
мы поняли. Это мы
we
усвоили,
have
это мы
figured
помним.
out that
Вы хотите
subconscious
спросить,
is involved
так,
in
а что нам
hypnosis.
делать,
So
если мы
it's working
сами
with your
этим гипнозом
subconsciousness. We
регрессивным
got that.
занимаемся?
We understand
Вы
that.
можете заниматься, но только
And you
можете
want
это
to
делать
ask,
с
so
собой.
what should we do if
С
we are
человеком
practicing this
обычным, который к
regressive
вам пришел.
hypnosis
Это делать
ourselves?
опасно для
You
этого
can do it,
человека.
but
Вы
you
не
can
знаете его
only do
состава
it on
психики,
yourself.
вы не знаете его состояние
With
эмоций,
an
вы не
ordinary
знаете,
person
как
who
он
comes to
среагирует на
you,
тот или другой
you
уровень.
cannot do.
А это очень
It's
чревато
dangerous for
работать
that
с такими
person
людьми,
because you don't
так
know
как мир сейчас
his
находится в
mental
таком безумии, очень многие
state, you
люди
don't know their
сходят с ума,
emotional
очень
state,
многие
you
люди.
don't know how
И если с ними еще поработать с
he will
ним
react to
подсознанием и
this or
там
that
вскрыть его, это очень
event and
опасно.
program
Поэтому,
and
друзья мои,
work. And
да, я
working with
вижу
such
сейчас
people
ваши
is very
мысли, я вижу, что
dangerous.
вы
Since
думаете.
the world
Вы
is in
думаете о том,
such a
а вот
frenzy
есть
right
случаи,
now,
мы
many
видели по
people are going
телевизору,
crazy,
когда
many people.
психически больного
And if
человека
we
приводят
also
к
work with
гипнологу,
their
он
subconscious and
восстанавливает его
open it up,
психику,
it's
и
very
так вы
dangerous.
начинаете мне
Therefore,
рассказывать.
my friends, yes, I
Друзья
see your
мои, не
thoughts now.
верьте всему
I see
тому, что
what
вы видите
you
и
are thinking.
слушаете
You
в
are thinking
передачах,
about this,
каких-то там
but there are
роликах. Не
cases
верьте всему,
we've
друзья.
seen on television
Постарайтесь душой
where a
своей
mentally ill
почувствовать, где
person is
правда,
brought
а
to
где
a
ложь. Вот я вам так
hypnotist
скажу.
who
А я
restores
сегодня
the
вам
psyche, and
рассказываю
then
свои
you start
собственные
telling me this.
наблюдения,
My friends,
свой
don't believe
собственный
everything you
опыт
see
с
and hear
огромным
on TV
количеством
in
людей,
those videos.
огромнейшим,
Don't believe
друзья.
everything, my
У нас
friends. Try
учатся
to feel
люди,
with your
сотни
soul where
тысяч
the
людей
truth
у нас
lies and
учатся.
where the lie lies. I'll
Огромное
tell you
количество
this,
людей из
and
разных
today
стран.
I'm sharing
И
my own
поверьте, я-то
observations, my
уже
own
знаю.
experience with a huge
Вот
number
я
of
уже
people.
за эти
A huge
15, там,
number, my
20
friends.
лет я
We
уже
have hundreds of
насмотрелась
thousands
всего,
of
друзья мои,
people studying with us.
разных
A
случаев
huge
и
number of
разных
people from
пациентов.
different
И вот
countries.
сейчас
And
я
believe me, I
понимаю,
already know.
что
Over
играет
the
роль
past 15
подсознание. В большей степени
20 years, my
подсознание.
friends, I've
Поэтому
seen
мои
everything,
хорошие, я
different
хочу,
cases
чтобы
and
вы
different
понимали,
processes. And now
работа
I
с психикой–
understand
это
that the
очень
subconscious
серьезная
plays
работа.
a role,
И знаете,
mostly the
влезть так в
subconscious.
подсознание
Therefore, my dears,
человека, и
I
там
want you to
он был
understand
психически
that working with their
неуравновешенный, и
psyche
тут
is very
щелк,
serious
сделать
work.
его
And
психически
you know,
здоровым, да
to
если бы это
penetrate a
можно было
person's
сделать,
subconscious
все
like
было
that,
бы
and
намного
they
проще и
were
легче.
mentally unstable there, and
Поэтому
then
я хочу, чтобы
suddenly,
вы
with a
понимали,
click, they become
вам
mentally
нужно
healthy.
работать
If
над
only
собой,
it could be
и
done that
нужно
way, everything
развивать,
would be so
расширять
much
свое
simpler and
сознание.
easier. But not.
А
That's
происходит
why I
это
want you to
благодаря
understand that you
наличию
need to work on
знаний
yourself
и
and
работы
develop
над
and
собой.
expand your
Вам нужно
consciousness.
всегда
And
понимать
this
и
happens
учиться
through
управлять
knowledge
собой.
and
Ваша прямая
self-improvement.
задача,
You
если
must
вы не
always
хотите
understand and learn
инородного,
to manage
разрушительного
yourself.
влияния и
This
воздействия
is
на
your
себя,
immediate
вам
task.
нужно научиться
If you
управлять
don't want
собой,
foreign,
своими
destructive
эмоциями,
influences
своей
and impacts
жизнью,
on yourself,
своими
you need to
событиями,
learn to manage yourself, your
своими
emotions, your
взаимоотношениями с
life,
родными
your
и
events,
близкими, с
your
людьми. Ведь,
relationships
друзья,
with
агрессивность людей
family,
сейчас настолько сильная.
with
Вот
loved
я
ones,
сегодня,
with
простите, не
other
сегодня,
people.
вчера,
After
да,
all,
по-моему,
friends,
вчера,
people's
я уже
aggression is so
запуталась в
strong
днях,
right now.
столько много задач.
For example,
Я
I
работала с
today,
аудиторией, которая
sorry,
придет
not
на
today,
базовый
but
уровень. Вот
yesterday.
с 17 числа у нас
I think it
начинается
was
базовый
yesterday.
уровень,
I'm
и
already
я
confused
готовила
about the
людей к
days.
этой
So
работе.
many
И
tasks.
вот
I was working with an audience that will be going to the basic level. The basic level starts on the 17th, and I was preparing people for this work. And then a woman says, I can't find common ground with my family and friends, with my children. I tell them I'm being nice to them, and that's it. But they, she says, are being aggressive and upsetting me so much. I look at this woman and clearly understand the problem. She simply does not know how to protect herself, how to bring peace and order to the family, how to avoid aggression, how to avoid fighting with anyone. How can she understand why those children are attacking her? She does not understand that either. Why did she give them life and they're attacking her? It's painful, sad, of course, for this person. And I promised her that everything would be peaceful, quiet, and smooth, and I know it will be. The main thing is to follow all my advice and recommendations, and it will be. Well, that's how it is. Well, everyone has those. She will have them. Everyone who listens to me, everyone who understands me, everyone who trusts me. Not everyone trusts me, and I know that when someone comes to work with us, to study with us, to learn, the first thing they have is doubt, and it's understandable why, because this is a world of lies. But yes, that's how it is. I got distracted. Sorry, friends. I'd like to tell you a little about various other methods of influence and impact through hypnosis. Through hypnosis, well, you understand, it's the so-called state when you open your mouth and don't know what's happening to you. That's it. And when you are always in a conscious state, always alert, always mindful of yourself, always aware in your thinking, aware in your decision making, aware in your choices, when you have these skills, you develop these states, these qualities, and are already living by them, it's impossible to influence or impact on you. Although there are techniques, very powerful techniques, very serious, that can be used for both positive and negative effects, for both good and evil. I call techniques a knife, one that can cut bread and one that can kill a person. That's what tools are. And by using them with different intentions and with different emotional components of the person, using these mechanisms become what they are. They actually function according to the state of the person working with these mechanisms. So I'm thinking about what I've explained to you. So I hope I have explained it to you, right? So this is how it works, that the person themselves determines the quality of the method for the mechanism. Do you understand? The person themselves. That's why I don't give you powerful mechanisms and methods right away at a basic level. I don't give them to you because you are not ready. You'll only harm yourself. What do I mean by that? I first do psychological work with you, energetic and psychological cleansing, renewing, and so on. Let's not talk about that now. We are not having a course, we are having a program. So your task is to learn to control yourself, to control your psyche, to control your thoughts. That's very important. Yes, you can do it, friends. I know. You all can. You just have to do it and do it right. And what other methods of influence and impact are there? Well, we have talked about different types of hypnologists, different specialists, different people who seek them out, different levels of immersion. We've talked about that too. But what other methods of influence and impact are there? A great many technical means have been created, technical tools that have now been launched into satellite orbit and can also influence and impact a person's inner state. There are various, let's say, different affirmations that can also influence and impact a person, but in general, my friends, it's so simple. Just in this case, the very thought of another person is already an influence and impact. Thought, I mean, you influence yourself. When you think badly of yourself, for example, you feel remorse, you feel some kind of dissatisfaction, you experience some kind of emotion, you affect yourself. You affect your subtle bodies, friends. Yes, yes. That's really how it is. Or you think about another person. If you think well of him, you affect him well. If you think badly, you affect him badly. And you affect his subconsciousness. And what if he is watching TV at that moment and immerse completely in it? His subconscious is open and he downloads the movie he is watching, and along with it, all the thoughts other people have about him. That's how it works. Can you protect yourself from this? Yes, of course you can. First, you need to learn to forgive. First, this is the most powerful protection for beginners and the unprepared people. When you forgive and feel forgiveness and love for others, you protect yourself with the love you feel. I told you today, your feelings, your intentions, they create the process within you. Do you understand? People need to understand this. They need to talk about this 3 times a day. It's essential to talk about it. Talk about how they influence and impact themselves with their thoughts, emotions, feelings, desires, intentions, understanding, or lack thereof. In other words, they create everything in their lives. But the ego is so cunning that they don't always understand this. They can't always detect this in themselves. Why? Should I tell you why? Because once upon a time, somewhere over 30,000 years ago, Lucifer's rebellion occurred on this planet, and one of its most important laws was the law of separation, the separation of you. You were separated, your body was separated from your soul. They began to tell you that the body is one thing, this thing you look at in the water, because then there were not really mirrors. This is you, this reflection of yourself, that's you, this body, it is you. And the fact that you have a soul and subtle bodies, well, where are they? Have you seen them? No, you have not. Have you seen your soul? No, you have not, so you don't have it. But the body is there. You can touch it. You can look it in the mirror. You can do anything. That's it. That's it that you have. Everyone has forgotten about the soul and the subtle bodies, but they are at the core of this work, this influence and impact. They are at the core. After all, friends, when you have a thought, what is it? It's nothing other than the work of your mental body. You've activated your mental body, it's at work, in working order, and the etheric bodies are automatically activated. The spiritual bodies are activated if you think positive thoughts, and then your physical body, the very last one, is activated. Well, first comes your subtle world, your subtle state, which is your emotion and feelings, and with them comes the ego. The matrix, the system, which by the way was created during this uprising and connected every person by the head, by their hypothalamus. Everyone is connected to this system. And so people walk around wandering like in the movie The Matrix, as you can see there, and they are all like uh, under programs. Zeros, ones. You think this is a fairy tale? It's reality. But now the world is changing, a quantum transition is underway, and it won't be zeros and ones anymore, but even more digits. And what are those? They are programs. What are programs? They are information and energy. They are the building blocks, the subtle ones, for physical material, for physical matter. Physical matter is made of subtle matter. This is something we need to understand. This is an area we need to learn, to quickly explore now. It's at the heart of life now. Now the people who live today, yes, we see that many have become lazy, so lazy. They have given up. It's better to whine, it's better to complain, it's better to cry. Has their life gotten better? They are in a complete mess. This can't be done. We need to pull yourself together immediately. Stop and say, I can do anything. This is my life. Who's supposed to manage it? I need to manage it myself. This is how people need to learn to think. This is how they need to learn to live. And this is only possible in one case, when you develop. Development is what gives you such aspects. And we, my friends, will be meeting with you again with my subscribers on March 7, 2025 at 6 p.m. An open, free meeting with our viewers, with those who watch us but can't figure something out, maybe want to learn some new information, maybe want to ask me a question. We will be working 6 p.m. on March 7, 2025. We will meet again and work with you. This will be our working process. I will answering your questions, will tell you things I can't say live right now. We will meet on Zoom. This is the kind of work we will be doing. We'll be reviewing the meeting levels. We have assistants. They are also my students. They are people just like you who once came to me. Now I think phone numbers will appear, and in the chat you'll be able to see these numbers and register. Registration is mandatory because not everyone can get in later. Zoom is limited in access and in the number of people. Therefore, my friends, it's very important to register. Again, registration is free. So this is a gift for you, our divine gift for you, for your development. And in general, my friends, we are already doing more than anything to help the world begin to develop, to evolve. So, my friends, influence and impact can be annulled. I know you are all waiting for this method from me. Of course, I'll tell you now, but I'll tell you the simplest thing, something everyone can hear. So, how can you annul influence and impact? Mentally, as soon as the thought occurred to you that someone is influencing or impacting you, well, you thought about it. You have this thought, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but you thought about it. Why leave it subconsciously? There is no need. So you mentally sit down, calm down, listened to your breathing, switched your attention. Let's do it right now. What should we wait for? Listen to your breathing, breathe, take a conscious breath, understand that this is your inhalation, inhale, and exhale consciously. What does conscious mean? You think about your breath in and your exhalation. And just breathe like this for a little while, okay? And then think about the thought that is telling you it's affecting you. Think, yes, this is affecting me right now. Okay, good. I accept this and send this person love. Love, because I know that if he had it, he would never think of me this way. He would never be angry with me. He would never be upset with me. It's impossible. So he lacks love. This person right now lacks love. He is angry with me. He is looking for someone to blame. But I have nothing to do with it. Absolutely not. I'm sending him my love. So you have sent love and remain in a state of peace, detachment, and silence. Let's do it now. Let's send love. I send love to the whole world, to all people on earth, to everyone, absolutely everyone. And even though to those people who are blaming me, even to these people, I'm sending my love. May everyone have love, success, luck, and prosperity. To all of you, people of this earth, to all of you who have divine souls, to everyone. And I'll be silent for a few seconds. Watch me do it. That's it. That's it, my friends. That's it. You may ask what I felt. I felt peace. I felt detachment. I felt such serenity, such fulfillment. I noticed that my body was vibrating with energy, and I felt a tremor like electricity, like a very strong current passing through me. And I give this energy, this power to people, to the world, to humanity, to the planet. That's what I felt. Do this, friends. Do it, and you will see that you can protect yourself. And here is another method of protection which I already told you about. always be aware. Forgive people, love people. Friends, if only you knew how important it is to love people, how important it is to forgive them, if only you understood all of this, well, if you want to understand, I'll tell you a little bit. Look, every minute, every second, you interact with cosmic energy. You draw from a pure source. It gets inside you, and if you get angry at someone, show aggression, this energy becomes a weapon, and you destroy both yourself and the world. But when you are kind, filled with love, when you are merciful, when you forgive everyone, when you understand everyone, and you forgive only because you understand that the person is hurt, that he feels bad, and that's why he behaves so badly. You understand this, and you, of course, forgive the person. Then this cosmic energy transforms into happiness, health, strength, power, success, luck, prosperity, wealth, everything. All your dreams come true, all your fortunes come true. When you are in such a state of kindness, love, compassion, understanding, forgiveness, when you close your eyes to the stupidity of others, when you understand that it's not them doing, it's their ego entities doing it to them, and it hurts them too. Why be upset with them? We need to love them. We need to wish them well. We need to help them. We need to do everything so that they live well too. These people who offend you. Yes, yes, yes. That's exactly how you need to do it. Not just talk, but do it. For by their deeds you will know them, Jesus told us. Yes, by what deeds? By good deeds. You will know my disciples, spiritual people. That's how it is. So we've talked a little bit. I'm ready for your questions. I'll hand the floor over to Sergei Arkadyevich and I'll have another drink of water. So you have the floor, Sergei Arkadyevich. Good
Добрый
evening.
вечер.
The first question
Такой
is
вопрос
short
короткий.
from
Задает
Elena.
его Елена.
The question is
Вопрос
this:
такой. А
is
можно ли
it possible
воздействовать
to
на
influence a
человека по
person
фото?
from a photo, both from a photo and without a photo, simply by remembering the person? As soon as you remember them, you influence them. Many intelligence agencies are very afraid of this issue. They don't really know everything about it. They know nothing at all. They don't know that any thought is an influence and an impact, any thought of another person. But no one can stop people from thinking. You can impose certain thoughts from the matrix on them by implanting these programs. Yes, it's possible. In principle, that's what's being done. But my friends, as soon as you think of a person, you don't need any photo. You don't need anything. Absolutely. Just your thought and the image of the person. That's it. That's already influence and impact. Next question. Victor
Виктор
from
Иванович
Dnipro asks,
спрашивает. А
did Kasperovsky
Кашпировский и
and
Алан
Alan
Чумак
Chumak also use
воздействовали на
hypnosis
людей
to
по
influence
телевидению
people
и
on
тоже
television?
использовали гипноз? И
And
почему
why
кто-то
were some
исцелялся,
healed
а
while
кто-то
others
слушался?
went crazy? Yes, these were experiments in the research and use of psychotropic effects and weapons through certain hypnotic influences and impacts. Why? It helped some and harmed others. Why? Everyone's mental state and trust in this man varied. Those who believed him strongly either went crazy or something actually helped him. That is, they were healed. But trust played a role here, first and foremost. Trust is the opening of the subconscious, and depending on the program he used, he conducted many sessions. Which program he used, at what point, that program would be downloaded, and the person in principle would receive the result that the program itself contained. That's how it is. But it was a psychotropic influence and impact on the masses. Have you ever wondered how, in what way, one person filled stadiums? How was he allowed to advertise like that to gather all those people? No one dispersed them, those people. Why? Because these were experiments with the human psyche, experiments in psychotropic influence and impact, based on which mechanisms Mechanical instruments have now been created. That's
Знаете,
how it is, my
я
friends.
хочу вам сказать,
You know,
что
I want to
и
tell
сейчас
you
есть
that
такие люди.
such people
И
still
сейчас есть
exist,
такие люди,
and there
очень
are
много, но
still
они
such
просто
people today,
не
very many of
показывают, как
them, but they
это
just
было при
aren't
Кашпировском,
shown the
например, или
way
Чумаке.
they were with Kashpirovsky or
Следующий
Chumak.
вопрос.
Next question.
Следующий
Marina
вопрос
asks the next question.
задает Марина.
If
Если
someone
человек
has
уже
already
был на
had a
сеансах
regression session,
регрессолога,
how
как
can they
можно
close
закрыть
their
подсознание?
subconscious? With
Практики,
practices
методики
and techniques,
надо
you
применять
need to use
практики и
practices
методики,
and techniques
которые
that
дают
provide
такую
the
возможность
opportunity to
закрыть
close the
подсознание.
subconscious.
Нужно
You need
наработать
to
силовое
develop a
поле.
force field.
Вот.
Develop
Нарабатывайте
a force
силовое
field,
поле, и
and
это
this
силовое
force
поле
field
закроет
closes the
подсознание.
subconscious.
Само
Your
ваше
very
убеждение,
conviction,
намерение
intention,
плюс
plus
ваша
your
сила
strength
делает
make
этот
this
процесс
process
автоматически.
automatic. Yes,
Да,
there is
есть
a technique,
методика,
there is
есть
a
методология,
methodology, but I
но
can't tell
сейчас я
you
не
about
могу
it
вам это
now.
рассказать. Это
We have a variety of
нас смотрят
people
разные
watching,
люди,
my
хотят
friends, very
знать
different. But
разное.
the majority, our
Большинство
audience,
все-таки
are
нашей
very good,
аудитории
kind
очень
people,
хорошие,
very
добрые
good.
люди, очень хорошие.
Probably
Наверное,
99% of people are
99%
very
вообще
good,
очень хорошие,
but
но
there is also a
10%
percentage,
я не могу этим
and I
рисковать,
can't risk
людей,
it,
которые не
of people
готовы
who are
слышать
not
то, что
ready
я
to
хочу
hear what I
сказать.
can explain now.
Понимаете,
You
друзья,
see,
методики,
friends,
практики
techniques and
нужно
practices
давать
should be
людям
given
по
to
мере
people
их
as they are
готовности.
ready.
Просто
To
так
just
разобрасывать.
throw them
Поэтому
away,
методики,
it's
практики, с
impossible.
которыми я
That's why the
работаю,
techniques and
их нет
practices
в
I
книгах,
work with aren't in books.
их
They
нет
are not readily available
доступе
in
к
the ordinary
обучению, нет в
world. They
интернете,
are
они
not
нигде
on the
нет.
internet. They are
Нужно
nowhere to
вначале
be
им давать
found
такие
because you
методики.
can't give people
Сначала
such
людям
methods.
нужно дать
People
методики.
need to be prepared
Нужно
first.
открывать у них
Their
глубокое,
spiritual,
божественное,
divine, pure
чистое
state
состояние,
needs to
а
be
потом
revealed, and
только
only
учить
then
методикам.
can the
Но не
methods
всем
be
и то
taught,
не
and
всем.
not everyone,
Поэтому,
and
когда
not
люди ко
even
мне учиться,
everyone.
каждый раз
Therefore, when
мы
you come to
проводим
study with me,
предбеседы.
you go through
Вы
an
смотрим,
interview
насколько
each
вы
time.
готовы к этим
We
методикам
assess
дальнейших
how
обучения
ready you
или
are
нет.
for these further training methods or
Следующий
not.
вопрос.
Next question.
Следующий вопрос.
Next question,
Рита
Rita
из
from
Кишинева
Chisinau asks,
спрашивает, а действует
does
ли
hypnosis
гипноз на
work on
маленьких
small
детей?
children?
Да,
Yes, of
конечно же,
course, it
действует на
works on
маленьких
small
детей и
children,
ребят,
yes,
но
but there is
там
work
нужно работать.
involved.
Он
It
действует не
works
только
not
на
only on the
ребенка, но и
child
на
but
маму,
also on
потому
the
что
mother, because
подсознание
the
мамы и
subconscious of the
ребенка
mother
до
and child
7
are
лет
very
очень
closely
тесно
connected
связаны,
until
до
uh,
4,
he is 7,
связаны
very
тесно,
closely,
а до
and by
14 уже
14 this
немножко
connection is
связь
somewhat lost,
утрачивается,
and then
вот,
the
и
child
потом
becomes
ребенок становится
energetically
энергетически
independent
самостоятельным, и самостоятельным уже
and
наработанным,
already developed,
скажем так,
so
прожитым
to speak, by
подсознанием
their
просто
own
дает
subconscious,
поверхностным
working with
слоем.
its surface layer.
Следующий
Next
вопрос.
question.
Следующий
Next
вопрос.
question.
Ну, здесь
Here is a
группа
group of
вопросов,
questions
связанных
related
с
to exorcism.
экзорцизмом. То есть вот
Svetlana's
Светлана
question,
спрашивает,
tell me,
сколько
do
люди, умеющие
people who know
заниматься
how to
физкультурой,
dispel
работают в
entities
вашей
also
группе?
use
Много
hypnosis?
ли это
Is
делают?
this
Другие
necessary?
спрашивают, что входит в
Others ask,
подсознание во
what
время
enters the
обрядов
subconscious
экзорцизма.
during exorcism
Вот немножко
rituals?
на эту тему поговорить,
Let's talk a
рассказать,
little
как
about this,
происходит
explain how we work with
работа с
the
подсознанием
subconscious of a
человека, в
person
котором
who has
находится
something wrong with
физкультурник.
them.
Да. Да, друзья мои,
Yes,
бывает, человек настолько
yes, my
разрушает свою
friends,
психику,
sometimes a person
что
destroys
позволяет
their psyche
сущностям
so much
астрального
that
плана
they allow
вселяться в
entities
человека и
from the
жить, по
astral
сути, его
plane
телом.
to
Да,
inhabit
есть
them
такое.
and live off their body.
Э,
Yes, that happens.
Я сама
I do
этим
this
занимаюсь,
myself,
но
but
никакого
I don't
гипноза
use
я не
hypnosis.
применяю. Я вообще
I
никогда
don't
это не
work with
делаю.
hypnosis at all,
Потому что я
because
вот
I
вам лишь
already explained
объяснила,
it
я
to you.
понимаю,
I
что
understand that
это
there are
лучший
better
метод. Есть
methods,
более практичные
there are more
методики,
practical
есть
methods, there
высшие
are higher
методики, есть
methods.
то, что
There are
не
things that
создает человеку
don't create
проблем.
problems for a
Зачем мне
person.
работать
Why
с тем,
should I
что
work with
создает
something
проблемы?
that does
И потом
and
по
then
этому
worry
поводу
about it?
переживать. Есть
There are higher methods.
высшие методики.
But I want to tell you
Но
that
хочу вам
this
сказать,
very
что
process of
сам этот процесс
exorcism,
экзорцизма, да,
when we have
вот когда у
uncovering
нас
the
проходит
nature of
этот
the
курс
ego
«Вскрытие
courses,
природы
this
эго»,
is what happens to
там все
people.
время это
Yes, I have
происходит,
to
да, мне
exorcise
приходится изгонять этих
these
нечистей, мне
evil spirits,
приходится
I have to exert
применять усилия, но я
myself,
это
but I
делаю с
do it with my
помощью
natural resources, my
своего
strength,
природного
my
ресурса,
energy, my
своей силы,
abilities.
своей энергии,
And I
своей
don't use any
возможности. И
hypnosis. What
никакого я
kind of
гипноза не
hypnosis is this,
применяю.
my
Вот
friends?
какой там
What are
гипноз,
you
друзья
talking
мои?
about?
О
When
чем
a
вы
person
говорите,
is
когда человек
struggling,
бьется о
trashing,
колодец, когда он кричит,
screaming,
когда он ревет,
spitting,
когда он
doing such
тоскует по
thing that
личику,
they
кричит
scream
так,
so
что
loudly
слышит
that half the city can
полгорода.
hear?
Ну,
Well,
образно
figuratively, quietly, of course, but they scream so loudly that everyone comes running, thinking they are being stabbed. That's the feeling. He's in pain, my friends, it's hard for him. These are the processes. The entity lives within a person, and now many people have these possessions. We'll talk about this topic sometime, about these possessions. There is a lot to talk about there too. I just want to tell you one thing. An entity will never possess you unless you allow it to do so. Only then. When you're given it permission, it does so. You may not understand how you've given it permission, how you're given it permission, but you are definitely given this permission. Watch the film Nefarious. I should probably be charging a percentage for this film. I should probably be charging some kind of fee because I advertise this film so often. And why do I advertise it? Because, my friends, it shows something that is not really talked about, something people need to know, but they don't know it. They don't know what this dark force is. They don't know how it works on a person, how it attaches itself to a person. They don't know. Watch this film. You'll understand a lot. It's difficult, yes, because it's about an evil force. Yes, it's hard to watch, but there is truth in it, friends. So there you have it. Victor asks the next question. Do you think hypnosis can be used for medical purposes such as pain relief, memory restoration after trauma, and so on? Well, if again you are working with a trained person, then yes. If you are working with an untrained person and hypnosis is used on them, the subconscious, the depths of the subconscious are opened up. Look, when a child is born, he first remembers his past life. He can talk about it. Many children remember it until they're 5. Then the pituitary gland closes this connection to the past life. That is, the subconscious is closed, and the person grows, the child develops, and no longer remembers it. That is, they don't remember their past life and are already forming a new subconscious for their current life. These are the programs they access. And when the subconscious is finally opened up, this barrier is destroyed during hypnosis, and the subconscious remains open. But it won't always close again the way it did before. Not always. It might not close, and there could be a danger to a person's psyche. That's how it is. You see, you can't say whether this is good or bad. You can't say that. It's both good and bad. It depends on who, for whom, and with whom the work is being done. And again, who is doing this work? Again, as we discussed today. More questions? Aigul asks, can a hypnotist influencing an energetically strong person get a blowback? Yes, he can get a strong blowback, yes. I think he can simply get a blow if he does something wrong. Yes, he can simply get a blow. Anna from Kazakhstan asks, who was Wolf Messing really? He was a well-rounded person. He was both a hypnologist and a psychic. He could see information, peer into information fields. He could influence and affect the superficial layers of a hypnotist, like a hypnotist using gypsy hypnosis on a person and employing certain mechanisms. That's why he was such an unusual person. He will incarnate on earth again and grow spiritually. Next question. The next question is also probably one that touches on a broad topic. Nana asks, many people nowadays put their lives on display. They talk about everything, about events, about their children's health, and so on. How does this affect the lives of these people? Well, I'll also add, yes, nowadays a lot of bloggers simply film themselves eating breakfast, brushing their teeth, and so on. Well, there are people who like to peek into a powerful, well, but really, does a large number of people following the life of one person have any influence? What happens to that person? Does this have any effect on them? Of course it does. They think about them. Some people, if they eat something delicious, even envy them. oh, they eat such delicious things. These are ordinary people, undeveloped people. They know that you should not be jealous, that you should not be greedy, that we should not be selfish, that you should just help people. No, of course not. So, of course, it has an influence and an impact, and a very serious one, my friends. Well, that's the first thing. Second, I'll tell you why people do this. People who lack self sufficiency, people who can't do anything but want to at least make a name for themselves, use these methods. They film where they go, what they eat, and so on. It's also some kind of income, I guess. Bloggers, they do it this way. There are people, just from my own experience. We were flying once and were at the airport, at one of the airports, I won't say which one, and there we met a woman who is a blogger from Kiev. She is sitting there with her phone among people, recording a video of herself sitting there, of being at the airport, of being in a good mood, or she told that she had a bad mood, and then she turned it off, and I looked and I see that this woman has mental health issue, mental disorders, although she does not realize it. There is no understanding that she should not be done, that it's wrong, because there is modesty, there is etiquette, there is things you should not put on display. That's true. And even if we were to talk about something, for example, we write our own programs, and they have meaning, these programs. They are meant to develop and educate people. They have an intention, because we don't advertise on our YouTube channel. That is, we simply broadcast to you, impart our energy, impart knowledge, develop you, explain everything, so that the world can live better, so that you can live better. And we don't need anything in return. But most people do it for the money, some just to show off. There is a very good film, Hello and Goodbye. In that film, one character says, "We have the lack of culture," and another character says, "We have plenty of that culture. Every family has a TV set at home." And the main character says, "Well, that means they are not getting anything out of it." So many people don't get anything out of life. They put everything on display so everyone will envy them. But why, my friends? On the contrary, the higher you are, the lower you will be among people. The more you know, the more love, compassion, mercy, and forgiveness show to people. You will all live well. After all, you are doing this for yourselves. How can people not understand this? But that's the way the world is. You know, my friends, I believe this is how it was supposed to be. If people had been developed up until now, this would not have happened. People were undeveloped. They were trapped in the prison of their consciousness, their selves, their nature. No one knew anything. And then the system even turned to debauchery, which we're seeing now. These transgender communities, it's terrible, my friends. That's how it is now. But it will end. It will end soon. We just have to be patient for a little while longer. The quantum transition will end, and this madness will end too. The world will change very, very soon, my friends. It will change. Life will be completely different. And only developed people will survive, not the people priests show off on the internet, but people who have managed to develop their souls, expand their consciousness, activate their intellect, and restore and strengthen their health. These people will go on living. Hurry, time is short. Next question. Olga from Turkey asks, is it possible to master hypnosis unconsciously? And I'll expand on the question a bit. Can it be learned? I know there are books about it. And is there any benefit to it? Or do you really need some extraordinary abilities for this? You can learn, my friends. There are techniques, there are books on hypnosis, you can learn it. But of course, how necessary is it? How useful is it? My opinion, and it's just my opinion, is that I don't think it's necessary or useful, that's all. My students know. There are techniques, practices. Here we are now, tomorrow is the last day of level 5. We are working with the subconscious, with the depths of the subconsciousness. If only you knew what kind of results, what kind of elevation people discover, how they change, how they rethink life, how they begin to see and understand it correctly and work with it. Friends, this is the most powerful work. They understand their nature, they know it, they've touched it, they've begun to live with it, with their own nature. This is their higher self. They have felt it, understood what it is. They can now apply it in their lives, direct it to help them solve their life's problems. These are the masters of life. Masters. That's how it is. That's already the 5th level. They have been studying for a certain period of time. So, friends, if, and by the way, you have been trained to do the same. If you want such an easy, superficial result, then you can study hypnosis. The result will be the same: quick, inefficient, and also you will have difficulties after that. But if you want serious results, if you want to feel confident about the future, no matter what, then you need to study. And I'll repeat once again, on March 7, 2025, at 6 p.m., we will have an open meeting with subscribers of our channel and our viewers. Come and register. No one will be able to enter without registration, only after registration. Friends, we don't need your registration so we can terrorize anyone or perhaps exploit your registration. No, friends, we are pure people, pure in our souls, our consciousness, our lives. We are pure, we don't do that. No, no, no. Sergey Arkadievich, a question for you. Next question, Kulash from Shimkent asks, do online video games contain elements of hypnosis? Why do teenagers commit suicide or fall off roofs while performing certain tasks after watching certain games? They have 25th frames, and a lot of them. And basically, all these games were created with the purpose of influencing. This is, by the way, a method of influencing the human psyche, including the subconscious. Yes, of course, that's true. There is a 25th frame. Also, cartoons, modern cartoons, almost all have a 25th frame, which encodes a completely different information. The subconsciousness perceives it and then the child begins to manifest it in their behavior, although it seems like a good cartoon and often quite harmless. But this toy has a crooked mouth, for example. It's on its side, and when it talks, this little box, it talks with a crooked mouth. And what is a crooked mouth? When a child whose consciousness of this world, his perception of this world is still just forming, sees something, some animal or something with a sideways mouth, what does he think? He develops a program that, in principle, a person can also have a crooked mouth. And this in turn distorts his consciousness. That is, he develops an incorrect perception of the world, an incorrect perception of space. That's why you need to think carefully about what toys you buy for children. You can't buy aggressive toys and games like tanks or shooters. That's not allowed. Children should not play these games. It's psychological destruction. And then you say, Natalia Vladimirovna, what's going on? My child is not sleeping. My child is mentally devastated. So that's it. There are programs there to drive your children crazy. These programs are encoded there. Your children don't recognize them and you don't see them either. You can't perceive them. These are also, by the way, methods of influence and impact. Friends, for the world to become a better place, to become more developed, all this needs to come from more than just me. Correct thinking, the correct perception of the world, ethics, high culture, morality, purity, openness, honesty, decency. It must come from there, from those people who govern the process of life. And if it's terrible there, then it's terrible here too. Do you understand? I understand what these times are like, but you are in your families can choose not to show your children such bad cartoons. You can. You know that. Yes, of course, we need to change the education system, the training system, the healthcare system. Everything needs to change, of course, because everything requires change. But how long will it take to change? And when will it change? And will it change at all? Let's make changes together, right now. You have families, parents, children, and acquaintances. We'll start. Where? With a healthy lifestyle. That's the first thing to start with a healthy lifestyle, a healthy mindset, and the right attitude towards each other. But this is not just talk, it's action, should be. This must be demonstrated. Only then will it be real and yield good results. So let's talk the last question and we will conclude our program.
Так,
So this question comes from Anton from Spain. He asks if we are working in practices or meditating or in an altered state of consciousness, can we be influenced at that moment? Are we vulnerable at that moment? And how should we practice correctly to be invulnerable? If you work within the mechanisms I teach you, you are completely protected. Completely. I am telling you about this. I told you about it too, Anton. Have you forgotten? I told you about it. I taught you, I told you, I showed you how to work with these methods, and you worked. And when you work with these methods, you completely protect yourself with a light field. Remember, here is how it works. Try listening to our lectures and our practices several times. When you practice, you are completely protected, including your subconsciousness. So, my friends, our broadcast is coming to an end. One more quick question. Okay, go ahead for you. Yes, a quick question. I was preparing this for the last time. Ekaterina from Kazakhstan asks, why are so few people able to remember their past lives? It would be easier to correct the mistakes of the past. Why is this closed to most people? Thank God it's closed. If it will be open, listen, the world has practically gone mad as it is. If we open it again, everyone will become mentally ill. What are you thinking, friends? No, absolutely not. And thank God for closing it. Thank God. A human being is so vulnerable and mentally weak that if people realize that in a past life they cut off someone's legs and arms, even their tongue, and truly understood that it was them, they will go crazy. First, they won't be able to forgive themselves because in this life they have other parents, another social environment, and other circumstances. They are already in another life. Nobody here cuts anyone's tongue anymore. That's how we live. And he would have seen this, and he would have realized that he himself had done it. His conscience would have gnawed at him so much that he would have killed himself. So it's forbidden. This needs to be revealed, yes, but over time. And so we are doing this now at the fifth level of studying. That is, people have undergone very serious training. You can't even imagine the preparation they have underwent before working with this level. And I did not even take everyone to this level. Not everyone was able to reach the fifth level. I refused many people. Can you imagine, friends? This is so serious. And if it had been revealed to you, you'd go crazy. You'd torment yourself so much, you'd torture yourself so much, the world would be mired in self-flagellation. No, you can't do that. You are not ready. You are not ready for these processes. You are very weak psychologically, mentally. You need to develop inner resilience, strength. You have to become such that people get offended, insult you, whatever, and you stand there and listen calmly and don't react. Can you do that? Can you not react to some injustice? No, no. and you should open up and take it. You won't fix it. Tell me, have you fixed much in this life? In this life, why bother with the last one? Have you already fixed much in this life? Have you done much good qualities within yourself? Ask yourself all these questions, and you will understand that you would and would like to, but many don't even know how. Do they teach you these abilities in school? Do they teach you about subtle bodies? Do they teach you how to control your etheric body? Do they teach you about phantom pains in school? No. At college? No. At university? No. At academies? No. We can't talk about that there. If you want to write a dissertation about this, they won't let you pass it. That's what we are talking about, my friends. Everything needs to change. The education system, the development system needs to change. No development, no education. We are not talking about some arcane scientific facts now, about you, about your nature. And people don't even know that. And many don't even know what their organs look like, where they are located. And they don't even know that. It's the 21st century, a quantum leap. Time has sped up by 6 hours, or rather, it's shortened. But people don't know anything about themselves. And you want to live well? And you want heaven on earth? No, my friends, heaven on earth is only for my students. I told them exactly that today, and I spoke my mind. Yes, I'm telling them you are living in hell while being in heaven, because the planet truly is hellish, the madness of this world, and I'm very sorry that it's like this. But I will, my friends. As long as I live, I will work. I will do everything to make heaven here, not hell, but heaven. I will do everything. I will do everything right, consciously. And I will find, and I'm already finding my own approach to each person, because you are all different. Different, and everyone truly needs their own approach. I love you, friends. I love you and will serve you as long as I live in this world. But I understand that I can't do everything for you. I can only help you 50%. After all, 50% of the help and care for yourself is yours. Yours alone. Understand this, realize it. Don't expect superficial results. Don't fall into traps, into the web where they tell you sweet stories. They tell you it's so simple. Just come, listen, and everything will be fine. That's it. That's not true, friends. This is great work, the greatest work. The greatest work is on yourself, first and foremost. The greatest work is in expanding your intellect and developing your mental abilities, because there is so much knowledge and information there. Students often say, you know, our heads are square, swollen with knowledge, with all the information we have received. So it's not easy, and it's not simple, and it's not like that, but it's possible. And those who reach such heights have the greatest fortune in their lives. But then again, if you think everyone achieves this, my students, no, my friends, I'm always truthful with you, I always tell it like it is. So only those who work hard, who don't listen to their ego essence, who before they have even had time to, like a chicken, to gather their feathers, consider themselves guru and greatest masters. Their ego won't let them hear me. Their ego won't let them, so that's why they don't hear me, although I give them practices, yes, and they are on their own wavelengths. They really want to be masters. Yes, of course, you will be. But a master, who is a real master? This is a responsible person, responsible for the lives of those who come to him, and then he is responsible for the consequences that arise, and he does everything to ensure that everything is for the best. This is someone who truly possesses all the information, the full level of knowledge, the highest methods and technologies, the supreme power of the great divine within, and above all, masterfully controls himself. That's what a master is. And if a person does not gain at least something from this, he cannot be one. They need to study, prepare. And if they have such a desire, they will certainly become masters, but everything must be done correctly, so that your work, your life benefits all people, all of humanity. That's how you should live. And this should not just be talked about, it must be done. It's easy to seem, but difficult to be. Thank you for your questions today. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for listening attentively. Thank you for trusting me. I love you. Wishing you happiness. And until next time, until next broadcast, until next time. Goodbye, friends.